I had some friends in town over the past weekend, and they were saying, what's it like living here? I'm like, well, there are practically no mosquitoes. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, there's no humidity. Oh, that's great. Oh, and there's scorpions. And it got very quiet in the car. Don't be afraid of scorpions. If you are, you want to call our next guest. He can help you. Trent English, he is here, pest control technician with Truly Nolan Pest Control. He's seen a thing or two when it comes to scorpions, and he has some information for us today. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing great. Fantastic.
It's great to have you.
Wonderful day.
It is a wonderful day, a beautiful day for scorpions to make their way into your house, because it seems like right now the conditions are perfect for them.
Yeah, we live in a desert, so the conditions here are really ideal for this. We get a couple different scorpions here. A desert hairy that gets about 4 to 6 inches big. That's not the problem here. We get the notorious Arizona bark scorpion
Mm-hmm.
that thrives very well here. And these conditions here in the desert allow it to live. Most scorpions 2 to 6 years. These ones live well over 6 years.
Yeah, so
Great conditions for them.
those little bark ones, those are the ones that end up in our house. So where do these scorpions live? Where do they kind of gravitate? How do they end up in our house?
So scorpions, for the most part, are pretty much blind, but they have tiny little hairs on their legs and body that can detect airflow.
Ah,
So if you think about a home in general, like with positive and negative airflow around doors, windowsills where we're losing energy, where there's air, centralized air escaping out those areas,
mm-hmm.
they feel that escaping negative airflow and are drawn to the like garage doors, the gaps to the right and left. There's a
Yeah,
lot of airflow going there. Your front door is one of the most notorious. Usually, if you look down at the base of the door itself, a lot of the weather stripping that was installed here in the valley, they go from top to bottom, and there's usually a little bit of a gap
yeah.
down there at the base.
Mm,
So
okay.
they're drawn to those areas, that negative airflow, and they find their way into our homes.
So just try to take care of those drafts. It's also good for your energy use as well. Worth noting, has 2 cases there.
Absolutely.
Uh, let's talk about the sting, because I think a lot of people think, oh no, I'm going to get stung by the scorpion. I'm just going to collapse and die right then and there. Not necessarily the case. It can be painful, though, and there is a point where you got to call somebody to kind of help you out. When do you call medical, say, I got an issue here?
It is painful, and everybody's different. So this is where I recommend use a gauge because everybody's different. It's hard to give advice in these circumstances. You just want to monitor symptoms. It's like the equivalent of a bee sting times 10 in my experience. But when it comes to a small child, like under 3 or 2, somebody with a weak immune system, you're not going to want kids in general or somebody with fighting it just has a weak immune system. You're not going to want to leave that to chance. You're going to want to reach out. I know Sunrise Hospital here actively stocks the antivenom.
Okay,
So you're going to want to go to a location like that so they can administer that.
gotcha. It's important stuff, and I know, especially if you have a smaller kid, there's not a lot of body for that venom to go through, so it's going to end up possibly causing a bigger issue. And it seems like the smaller scorpions cause more of an issue than the bigger ones.
They do. They do because well, especially the Arizona bark scorpion we have here. This one is more communal than solitary, like most scorpions. I want to show you something here. So
Oh no.
here I have in this case
Oh,
here, I don't know if you
oh
can see
no.
that.
Oh no.
That is,
Oh,
and this is not indigenous here. You don't need to freak out. Nobody
good.
needs to freak out. Um, Contrary to the way this thing looks, these things like this Asian forest scorpion, big, it's harder for this thing. It's solitary. It's harder for it to get in those little nooks and crannies like these smaller scorpions,
Yeah.
2 to 3 inches. They can flatten out and they can fit into areas like underneath doors, through windowsills, where those little gaps of weather stripping are missing. They follow negative airflow. So in the fall and winter, they find their way back the backside of the weep screed around a home, which usually there's a good significant gap there. So what happens is they continue to follow that airflow up into the walls, find themselves into an attic. And if you think about canopy fans that are not cocked and sealed off inside a
Yeah.
home that are circulating air, they're drawn to those areas. And so as they continue to follow that airflow, they find themselves falling out of areas like that, sometimes in people's beds. And that can be pretty traumatic.
Oh, that is awful. Oh, no.
It
I'm
is.
sorry. That just gave me nightmares, and I appreciate that. This is why we call Truly Nolan, though. You guys know more than we do about this stuff, so you can maybe catch some of these things and keep them out of our house before they get in. Really quickly, before we go, talking about keeping things out of our house, the past year and change, Truly Sanitized service has been going bananas for you.
Yeah, I mean, we've stepped up to the plate here to fight pest vectors, and in response to this pandemic, we leveled up our sanitation disinfectant service. So we've been able to go into businesses' homes and restore consumer confidence. A lot of the products we use, like CDC, EPA approved
Mhm.
to take on COVID-19 as well as many other viruses and diseases as well. But on top of that, we've it's like a two-ply application. We use an antimicrobial that sticks around. It's a durable product that envelopes surfaces on top of that,
Yeah,
continuing to keep these surfaces from being recontaminated. With the city opening up and people just flooding in,
you need
which
it.
is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm right, absolutely.
You cannot be reapplying 500 times a day. It's impossible.
No,
Trent,
nobody has time for that,
it's
right?
great having you, my friend. Thank you for keeping us safe.
Absolutely. You have a wonderful day.
You as well. You want to get Truly Nolan to your home or business, go to trulynolan.com or call 702-798-0010. Truly Nolan Pest Control, a proud sponsor of the Morning Blend.